Hey everybody, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I apologize for this little glare up here in my glasses. I'm trying to move around and make sure it goes away, but I'm having a hard time doing it. So I just wanted to come on today and give you something to maybe think about in life. And this is a lesson I saw on The Amazing Race a few days ago. And I just thought, that's how we really think about life and how we move from day to day. And I thought it might be interesting to you guys. So let me just kind of paint the picture real quick. They were on this challenge. And if you haven't watched The Amazing Race, basically it's a few teams of runners that go throughout the entire world, and they do these challenges from place to place, and then they compete. I think they win like $1 million or something. So great little show. I love it. It's fantastic, and I enjoy watching it. But there was one challenge that caught my attention the other day, and that was a carving challenge. They were in Italy, and you know that Italy has all of these great, beautiful carvings. And Michelangelo, the carving of David is there. I think they said it was 17 feet tall. I mean, it's just huge and massive. And these contestants had to carve a little replica of something that Michelangelo had done. And when you read the clue that they got, it basically said, chip away to reveal the carving underneath. And some of them didn't read the clue the entire way through, and they thought they were actually going to have to physically carve out of this soapstone, this figure. So as they were chiseling the stone, it made me think about a few things that we do in life and in business, and I wanted to just share them with you today. So sometimes we just look too far ahead. Maybe we didn't read the clue. We were looking at the future and we didn't see what was right in front of us. So that is the number one problem that a lot of us have. We vision out way too far. And we're not in the moment. We're not looking at what's really right in front of us. And had these contestants looked at what was right in front of them, they would have been able to complete this task a little bit easier. Sometimes we also assume that we can't do things. There was one contestant on this show, and I think they got eliminated that race as well. If you haven't watched Amazing Race, it is fantastic. You should go back and take a look at it. But I think they got eliminated that race. But she started out by just basically saying she couldn't do it, and it really surprised me too, because this was a lady who said that she was a motivational speaker and that she helped people through obstacles and helped them overcome certain things in their lives. And yet she was having a lot of trouble with that herself. And it brought me to another point, which I'll talk about in another video. But basically, sometimes our own insecurities is what leads us to try to help others with that. But in this situation, she assumed that she could not carve this figurine. And she was right. She really couldn't. I mean, she could not make it as beautiful as the original was, but in this case, she didn't even have to. A lot of times we're afraid of what's in front of us, but the reality is it's never what we think it is. We don't have that insight sometimes to realize that life's a lot easier than we make it out to be. Sometimes we make life so hard on ourselves, and sometimes we do things that are just making our day-to-day lives just really, really difficult. So my point is, don't assume that you can't do things like this lady did. Always assume that you can, and that you can make things happen. And we don't have to be that master carver like she assumed she had to be. We just had to be somebody to chip away the outside stone. Maybe you need to chip away a little bit of stone and get to what's really inside. So number three, our support system might be lacking. And my answer to that is, what difference does it make? If you have a support system around you that's really great, which I'm very thankful I do. But if you don't, then overcome that by making yourself your support system. Did you guys hear Snoop Dogg a few months ago? He started thanking all these people for all these things that he had done. And then he said, and finally, I want to thank myself. I want to thank me. I want to thank myself for making me get up and do this. I want to thank myself for believing in myself, and that's what you might need to do as well. So if your support system is lacking, don't use that as an excuse. Be thankful if you've got a great support system like I do, but if you don't, thank yourself. Make sure that you yourself do it. Make your own support system. And number four, sometimes we're just overwhelmed. We got too much stuff going on, and I am a big um, great example of this. Sometimes I have way too much stuff going on, but try not to get overwhelmed. This lady at this challenge, she was just overwhelmed from the beginning. She thought, well, this is not my wheelhouse. That's what she said. She said, this is not what I do. This is not what I normally do. And my thought was, well, quit whining, because that's what it sounded like to me, and I hate to say that, but maybe you need to quit whining a little bit. Don't get overwhelmed by all the stuff because you're looking too far ahead. You see how all these tie in together? And the last thing is, don't move too fast. The old story about the tortoise and the hare. I guess it was the tortoise was so slow in the race, but yet he won because he was consistent. So don't try to move so fast and get so far ahead, look too far ahead, assume you can't do certain things because it's just out of your wheelhouse. You know, maybe your support system isn't cheering you on. I mean, I kind of use that as an open example. I mean, I think her husband was kind of cheering her on a little bit, but maybe not to the effect that she actually needed. And don't be overwhelmed. You've got so much going on in your life. Just take it one step at a time. Don't look too far ahead. Look right in front of you, and you can accomplish great things. I know you can, and I know you will. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.